All right, we're off and rolling post game. A 90-69. Alabama beats Georgia here, and what was there was a moment. There was a moment in the second half for about 2.5 minutes that I thought Alabama played about as good a basketball as they can play. From about 10.5 to 8 minutes, everything clicked. Passing was crisp. Just everything was perfect. Alabama takes care of business against Georgia. And this will excite you a little bit, Taylor, right here. Um, they just announced, as the crowd is filing out behind us here, we'll see you here for the next Alabama home game on February the 15th against Auburn. They don't play here again until Auburn comes to town on February the 15th. We're that close to that game now.
Yeah, 14 days away. 14 days away. And this is their bye week, I believe. So they won't have any midweek game. They won't have a Tuesday or Wednesday game this week, if I am correct on that.
That is correct. Yes.
And that's probably a very much needed break.
Yeah. Auburn's already done that. They'll do that. LeBaron Philon, who is questionable, played today, but he did have a heavy ice and wrap on at halftime, a little treatment at halftime, but he came back and played in the second half, so it's a nagging thing. But he got out there and contributed today. But I just thought it was, I knew they had the midweek bye. I knew they had one road game. I didn't know they had all the road games until Auburn comes to town on the 15th. So getting closer and closer to that 1 versus 2, at least in bracketology matchup here coming up on February the 15th. All right, let's talk about this game. And I guess you start in this game with just how dominant Alabama's bigs were inside. I mean, you look at what Asa Newell was supposed to be in this game, a lottery player for Georgia. He ends up going 6 of 15, 16 points, 7 rebounds. That's around his average, but it was a very average outing. They took their best player, Georgia's best player, out with their defense and the big play underneath, including maybe the game of the year from Aiden Sherrill, his best game thus far. So my big takeaway here is what they did against Asa Newell on the other side of the floor. They sort of took them out of what they do best.
Yeah, they shot 17% from three. They were 4 of 23, which is not going to win you any games, especially against a team like Alabama that can put up some points. And one thing that I noticed that they did not capitalize on, which you would think that this would give them an opportunity to get back in the game at multiple points throughout, is the fact that Alabama had 20 turnovers and Georgia had 9 points off of
Yeah.
turnovers. So that was something which something else that they really could not capitalize on. But yeah, a dominant performance. And I think that that's what at least I expected in terms of, previewing this game. I figured that this was one, especially since it was at home, that Alabama should win going away.
Yep. And they did by 21, and it really wasn't that close. A lot of mop-up time near the end of that game. So we'll break it down, get to your comments as we always do after both posts. If you are looking for the Auburn post, we did that earlier. It is available on all the video platforms. Don't forget the basketball show comes your way with a new one coming up on Monday morning for your drive into work. And Taylor, give me a player of the game for you from Alabama. If you had to put your finger on one that's going to jump out for you, would it be leading scorer Mark Sears? Would it be somebody else? Where are you going to go?
I think, yes, Mark Sears, just because of the way that he's responded, which isn't surprising to me because I can't remember if it may have been the Friday show where we talked about, how will he respond after what happened? And we went through his stats after the Illinois game earlier this season when we saw something similar, and he was putting up 20, 25, 27 games the weeks following. And yeah, he had a great performance. He looked comfortable. He looked confident. But something that we've also talked about a lot here recently is how smooth and how quick Chris Youngblood's releases when he's shooting the three.
Yes.
He looks so confident and so comfortable in this offense. And coming off an injury, that's an adjustment that he's had to make.
Yeah, and that's a great point on Youngblood. Just to give you, like Youngblood today only shot the ball 5 times. He was 4 of 5, so he had a good shooting day. Aiden Holloway still got double figures. He only shot the ball 6 times. He was a very efficient 4 of 6. Diabate was an efficient 3 of 5. Aiden Sherrill was 3 of 5. 2 of 3, the big guy was from 3 today. Um, you have Nelson 5 of 9. Jaron Stevenson, who everyone keeps talking to us about. He was a smooth 2 of 2, hit both of his shots, both of those 3-pointers today. So a good day for Alabama shooting the basketball. Sears had 20 in this one. Nelson had 16. Sherrill with 12. Farrell with 12, Youngblood with 10, and Holloway with 10, the double figure guys. Jake says very much needed midweek. Yeah, it's hard to call them an off week, but that's what I default to because of my football background. You're playing one game next week instead of two. Feels like it's an off midweek, but as Jake says, the team could use the break there. They've been coached hard and they've been pushed hard, and this part of the schedule is really perfect leading into that Auburn game for them. And but you still need the rest to try to get everybody healthy for what will be a grind from the Auburn game on. Alabama's schedule is as tough as anybody's in the country.
Yeah, and I haven't looked, but I think according to basically all of the metrics or analytical sites that keep up with the random statistics, they'll list strength of schedule up until this point, strength of record based off of who you've played, and then strength of remaining schedule. And it's pretty high up there, as most of the SEC teams are, because of how competitive the league is. But something else I noticed in terms of just a impressive stat from Alabama's side of things is they had 3 guys hit at least one 3-point shot, which just goes to show, depth, something that we've been talking about all season. That's very important when a player like LeBaron Philon, who's been very productive up until this point, he's been dealing with, I guess, a nagging ankle, some sort of lower body injury. You have other guys that can step up. You have other guys that can hit shots and make up for some of the production that's lost when you have a player that was electric to start the season, drop off a little bit, whether it's due to injury or anything else.
Landmine believer, probably Alabama's C game and still beat a top 40 team by 20 plus points. This is what you wanted the LSU game to be like today, and they clicked on all the cylinders today. NH 3425 could be 1 versus 2 Iron Bowl with Iowa State losing today. If North Carolina could upset Duke, that is a possibility, but already Lenardi has it 1 versus 2. We'll see where the metrics end up getting it, but we'll claim a 1 versus 2 happening anyway. It's going to be no holds barred, as he points out. Yeah, I'm just hoping for a friendly, safe game. I'm sure there'll be no smack talking.
Friendly. Quit hoping for that now, because I can go ahead and tell you that is not going to happen.
Jeremy, Roll Tide Basketball State and Jacksonville State doing good too. Thank you, Jeremy, for that. Joining us on Facebook. Andy says, I hate to say it, but Auburn will kill us. He says there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Yeah.
Tuscaloosa, I don't foresee that happening in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, but you do. Wait, before I do the next comment, you see that happening at Auburn?
I mean, I think that if it were to happen, it would be more likely to happen in Auburn than it would be in Tuscaloosa.
And Nate Taylor just said you will get killed at Auburn. How many points he wants to know?
Yeah, please keep putting words in my mouth.
Landmine believer, Philon doesn't look explosive at all. Can't get to the rim like he used to. I wonder how long he has been dealing with this ankle. I know at least before the LSU game. This is 2 weeks in a row, by the way. I've had something in my throat at this venue. Doesn't hurt us on the Auburn show. Throat's perfect. Alabama show, something in the throat here. It is nagging him. It really is. It really is nagging him, and he can't really do what he normally does, which is explode off of it and get to the ball. Which is why they limited him today playing time wise, and I think for all the players, him resting this week will be huge. And I think that's why you saw him when you put it out a questionable on the availability report. They probably thought about just resting him today to try to get with the midweek bye to get that little extended time.
Well, that's what I was going to say is how much benefit do you get from playing him in games like this where you have, the situation is handled. You're going to walk away with a win. And those sorts of injuries, any sort of ankle injury, you tweak it once and it could sit you out. It could, delay your recovery a lot longer. So my question is that is kind of interesting as to why they wouldn't just sit him if they're not going to play him a ton to let him get rested and fully healthy before. And I know that he wants to play. All these guys want to play. They're competitors, but if it, it's obviously bothering him. So
All right.
I kind of wonder why they wouldn't just sit him to let him rest. Like you said, with the bye week coming up, he could get almost a full 7 days of sitting, rehabbing before he goes back out on the court.
AU Big Bob, who's jumped into the Alabama chat, doesn't think Alabama should be number 2 because of the loss to Ole Miss. I won't put his comment up because he wants to cuss in it. Same for Default Name, who points out that Alabama's plus 97 in SEC play, Auburn's plus 74 in SEC play with a weaker schedule. For the folks who think Auburn is going to blow Alabama out, I rephrase both of those
You
a
are
little
the
bit
only
there.
one that said that, I think. I didn't say
Let's
that.
see. I
I
know
did
you didn't.
not
I was
say
playing
that.
with you.
Let's make it clear.
I was playing with you.
But let's say, hey, what have we said? Style points don't matter.
Yeah. Wynn says, talking to AU, Big Bob, I encourage you to do some learning. Ken Palm has nothing to do with the actual school board. This lead up to this game is going to be, I mean, we just got to go live one night and just let the smack talking happen between the fan bases.
Maybe our Thursday night we can just
Yeah.
do it live and
just do it live and let the smack talking go, and we'll put everything up there. Yeah. People are talking about Auburn. Go ahead and hang your banner, being the number 1 team right now. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun lead up.
The thing is, it's gonna be a fun lead up, and like the thing is, like I don't know who's trying to do that.
Oh, just the Auburn fans in the chat over here are doing that.
Oh, okay.
So,
I haven't.
It's a chat argument going on.
Okay.
Ernie says 9 quad 1 games left. And then we got a big update there, so I lost it. But he was 9 quad 1 games left. What a hell of a schedule for Alabama down the stretch there. It's that way for everybody in the SEC. The quad 1s fly at everybody.
Yeah, I think the last time I checked, which the net rankings update daily, so this can change, but the last time I checked heading into the games today, the Saturday games, this game was Alabama's last quad 2 game because it was played at home. If it was played on the road, it would have been a quad 1 game, but since it's played at home, quad 2, and from here to the SEC tournament, every game they play will be an opportunity to add a quad 1 win to their record.
OC Jim, who is better on the road, Bama or Auburn? Tough question. Auburn's 5-0. Alabama's played its best basketball away from this building. So, I mean, it's actually a tough question to answer for me. I don't know if you have an answer for that. I mean, Auburn's unbeaten, but some of their closer
Alabama's
games
unbeaten on the road too.
Oh, I know.
In conference play.
I'm just saying that Auburn's. To me, when Auburn's looked beatable, it's been on the road. To me, when Alabama's played its best, it's been on the road. So that's a tough answer. Right now, I'd slightly say Alabama's slightly better on the road than Auburn is. What would you say if you had to answer it?
If I had to answer it, I mean, I don't know. It depends because some of those, it depends. Are both teams at full health? Because 2 of the really close road games in South Carolina and Georgia, Auburn was playing without Jani Broome. So
yeah.
I think they're so different. Auburn's, defensively a lot stronger than Alabama's. Alabama's gotten better, improved since last year. But I don't know. That's impossible to say because game to game, a lot of things differ. I don't know.
Oh, I'm just laughing at the sun has set wherever you are, and your light has now gone down to where you're basically ahead on a dark background now.
I know, and I'm wearing an all black, so that doesn't help. I look like I'm in the witness protection program.
It's like Taylor's head's floating. It's like you're from heaven talking back to us. It's like,
yeah, and I had a light, but I was like, I'm fine.
Nah,
I don't need a light.
Fine.
Yeah,
we're fine. We're almost done here. This was a blowout game, so we're going to get on with our Saturday nights here in a second. I will share one more thing. It is not official by any stretch of the imagination, so don't go say that Jim and Taylor have said it's official. But you called it when we were leaving here after whatever game. You said, "Man, it'd be awesome if Gameday was here." I'm told Jay Billis is definitely calling that game. Jay Billis is part of Game Day. That game is 3 o'clock um, in the afternoons. Be hard to get from Game Day to where Jay usually calls the Game Day location game. So I would say 99.99999% Game Day will be here in 2 weeks, like you
I don't
said.
know. I don't know what other games are being played that day, and I'm about to look because I don't know where
No,
else. I mean, that's going to
we.
be that's going to be the story of the Saturday, the story of
Oh
the
yeah.
week, the story of the weekend.
You don't even need to look. We've done that a couple of times, I think, already. And there's some other good games. But as everybody in the chat wants to know, is are they going to go crazy over the Alabama Auburn game with the two high metrics and maybe the two best teams in the country? Like they even today they're doing over North Carolina and Duke, and North Carolina's a nothing right now. So yeah, I think they will. I think you'll be surprised at how much love the week of the Auburn Alabama game that ESPN will give this basketball game.
Well,
I think it'll
were
get the North Carolina Duke treatment.
were you listening to the start of halftime between Auburn and Ole Miss? Because
I was not.
I do not. I will just go on a limb and say that I do not think that Jay Williams is a big Auburn fan. Not a fan, a big fan of this Auburn basketball team, and he believes that the quote unquote dysfunction of the team will catch up to them.
What,
Still
what,
referring, still referring to the plane incident that happened 3 months ago now. So
yeah.
I don't know how
Well,
much gushing over this Auburn team they'll get from him, but who knows?
I put that down for one of our questions tomorrow. Let's talk about that because Dylan Cardwell had a great quote post game today. We'll talk about it and all of that. And in our Monday morning edition, we tape it on Sunday night of the basketball show. So make an appointment. Go ahead and like and subscribe everywhere at Next Round and follow us there and get the opportunity to talk a little basketball with us. We always love your comments. And tomorrow's the day Taylor will send something out and we'll do all mailbag questions on the Monday edition one. And that will include what Jay Williams said and what Dylan Cardwell says about that Auburn team and some other questions we'll have about Alabama as they go into a midweek bye. And I got confused earlier. I got approved for a credential down at Auburn and I thought it was already for Auburn, Florida. It is, I assume my credential was approved for Auburn Vandy. So I should be less excited. It came in and I was like, oh, wow, Auburn, Florida. Can't wait to go to the game with little T, Auburn Vandy. But I'll still go if you want me to go. It'll be, I'll let you make that call
What?
later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially after your text earlier.
You are so sensitive. You are the most
I
sensitive
know.
person on the planet,
I
on the
really
entire,
am.
like,
I
come
really am.
on.
I'm
Come on.
playing with you. I'm playing with you. All
I
right. So
don't think you
Alabama,
are, but
I really am, probably.
okay.
So Alabama wins it. Next game, it's actually on the big screen right now. I'll let you see it and see if I can get it here. Um,
Okay, here we go.
it's on the big screen. Oh, that's not gonna work. Oh, it's up
I
there.
mean, I
I
can see the
promise you.
screen. I can't read the screen.
Yeah, I was hoping I could zoom in on it, but I cannot zoom in on it. It says next game, February 15th, 3 p.m. versus Auburn. And it's a crimson out. Alabama will be in the home crimson uniforms. So that means Auburn will be either in blue, orange, or white. Of course, because that's your school
Yeah,
colors. But
probably so.
when LSU played the other night in the crimson out, they wore the yellow. They didn't wear the white. So I guess technically Auburn could wear orange or blue or white,
Auburn's
whatever
yet
they
to break
want.
out the orange uniforms this year. So,
Yeah, could be fun. So that's the next game here in Coleman Coliseum, and that's going to do it for our post game show here. We appreciate everybody jumping in and having a conversation after a 90-69 Alabama win over Georgia today. So another winning day for us in our post game shows. And
yep.
we'll see. I'll see you tomorrow night when we record the Monday basketball show. Send your questions and get those in when Taylor sends it out, and we'll be glad to chat them up. And look forward to another great basketball week. All right, give me a final thought before you go. Any basketball today? Were you surprised at all about Florida losing by 20?
Yeah, after the players that were announced to be out, the Tennessee guys, I was like, "Ooh, this could get interesting." First half
Me
was
too.
interesting. Second half, nope.
Same with me. When Ziegler was out, I was like, book it, man. Florida's about to win this basketball game. They lost by 20. And I was surprised
Yeah.
Missouri drilled Mississippi State too. And I had not even looked at the national scores yet. So Iowa State lost.
I haven't I've paid attention to Auburn and then I paid attention to Alabama. I have
Yeah.
no clue what's going on elsewhere.
Yeah. Kansas State beat Iowa State on Iowa State's home floor by 19. That's a bad, bad loss right there. Baylor beat Kansas. It was a road game, but beat them by 11. Um, so, yeah, Vanderbilt won on the road against Oklahoma. So, a pretty good Vandy team. I was joking about them, nationally ranked, coming to Auburn on Tuesday night. So, that's some of
Yeah.
the other national scores. We'll be there for you on Tuesday, but don't forget the basketball show on Monday morning first. Set that. And for Taylor Corn, I'm Jim Dunaway from Tuscaloosa. Good night, everybody.